Check it out. Just backed out under its own power. Seems like this day was never gonna come. It's working. The first drive did not go the best because power steering cuts out and my speed sensors cut out after like 30 seconds of driving. Narrowed it down to this was an automatic car and Haltech wants a manual ABS module or pump. Picked one up locally for 40 bucks. About to swap it out. Hardest part of this is having to re-bleed the brakes, but I do have a power bleeder that I can hook up there and should make this a pretty quick job. Already tested with this one too. I plugged it in, drove around, it's good to go. Almost done bleeding the brakes as part of this ABS module install. You can see the big mess on the ground that I made removing it. Never really looked at the wheels on here, but check that out. That's a lot of wheel weights, and that looks like a repair to me. I did order new wheels though, so not too worried about it. All right, need to replace the stock fuel pump. I thought I could get by with this on low boost, but that is not the case. I saw people with cammed LS3s running the stock fuel pump, but they aren't on ethanol, and I kind of didn't think about that. I'm using 30% more fuel than pump gas, so need to go to a bigger fuel pump. Check this out. I think the previous owner was doing some off-roading with this car. But yeah, let me get that out of there. I guess I need to clean that up first so I don't get any of that junk in the tank. And then I'm going to be dropping in a Aeromotive 340 liter per hour fuel pump. Well, the Aeromotive pump is too long. Can't get that to clip down in there, which is disappointing because A, I had to cut the connector to get it into the housing, which means I can't return it. And B, that also means my brushless fuel pump is not going to fit that I wanted to do eventually. So I'll probably have to go with like a radium hanger or maybe modify this one for a bigger fuel pump in the future. I did go ahead and pick up a Deepmotor fuel pump that will fit in here. Should be able to make like 450 horsepower on this. This is a DW300C. All right, it's 7 in the morning. And I'm on my way to the first Cars and Coffee in Dayton here of the year. Cruising 66 miles per hour. Cruise control works with the Haltech. Got the laptop in the passenger seat. We got a ways to go, but so far so good. Hopefully we make it. Made it to Cars and Coffee. My buddy's RX-8, buddy's EK Hatch, Land Cruiser. This doesn't start until 8. It's 7:40 and it's already packed here. Here's the wheel. VMS Racing. This is pretty much one of the only 15-inch wheels out there on the market that will fit the BRZ, since the BRZ is a 5x100 bolt pattern, which is not super common. It's one of those projects that has escalated quickly, so I had to grind down a lot of the caliper to make the wheels fit. I knew that when I bought them, but we had a broken stud back here. Supposedly the BRZ and the FRS have really, really weak studs. So I have ARP studs going in here, but then I got this caliper off. I was looking at it. There's hardly any pads left on there. There's a new wheel and tire. Now I did mess up because I didn't tell them about the wheel weight placement, and they put it right where the brake caliper is that I just spent tons of time grinding to make the wheel fit, so they don't fit. So I guess I need to pull this off here and go back to tire shop and have them redo it. Hopefully they don't charge me money. They probably will though. All right, finally taking this thing to the track. My trailer, I think I've shown this on the YouTube channel. Loading it by myself for the very first time.
12.6. It ran a 12.06 on the second pass. We're gonna put it in the trailer. Not really, we're gonna go run one more. You gotta back it up. All right, so I did a bad job recording a clip explaining this, but the next two races I did in the car was Street Car Takeover, and I ran the 12.0 index class, which means you cannot run faster than 12 seconds. And it's also an instant green, so that means somebody is pressing a button to trigger the green light telling you to go, which makes it pretty hard to anticipate the light and cut a good reaction time. So the car, unfortunately, pushed through the brakes in the only round of qualifying, and so I got no good data from that. So we went into eliminations pretty much blind. It was super, super hot out there, so the tune-up from the testing at my local track wasn't really good enough to run close to a 12.0. And yeah, I lost in the first round of testing, as you'll see. The car was actually breaking up after like 5,000 RPMs, and I think I probably would have won it if the car didn't do that. But it was like a picture finish race. It's super close. Learned a lot. It was a whole lot of fun. The 12.0 class is like perfect for the BRZ in its current state because it's completely out of fuel system. It's also out of gearing, which we are going to fix so we can go faster next year. But yeah, here's the clips of racing this year, and you'll see that it didn't go the best. But I've never tuned or raced an automatic car. I've never done any dig drag racing competitively, so this is all completely new to me. Kind of hard to go out and expect to win your first time, so enjoy. All right, we're at Street Car Takeover Indy, and this is round one eliminations. I hope I can pull it off. Car's not overheating, so that's good. See what happens.
Top off left side of the track for the SUV, waiting. And we're all in. Here we go.
Out here at Edgewater near Cincinnati, Ohio, with the BRZ, running the 12.0 index again. Hopefully I can make something happen and not go out in the first round this time. All right, so I just had my first qualifying pass and apparently forgot my SD card for the GoPro, but it went really good. I ran 11.98. I think I'm just gonna keep this tune up in it, and depending on where my competitor is, maybe let out towards the end, not sure. Because I can't run faster than a 12. Well, as you just saw, I lost in the first round at Street Car Takeover in Cincinnati, just like I lost in the first round in Indianapolis. But guess what? I learned a ton, okay? After in Indianapolis, I set up a scramble boost button in the car because I felt like I would have won in Indianapolis if I had that. So scramble boost gave me 16 pounds of boost versus 12, what I ran in qualifying. I ran 11.98 in qualifying, which was like absolutely perfect. So the first round of eliminations, I'm up against this Mustang, green light, we hit it, and he's immediately out ahead on me. So I grabbed my scramble boost, never had tested it, and those 4 pounds of boost had to be like 100 horsepower because it threw me back in the seat. I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is on a rip. So about halfway down the track, I decided to let out because I was almost certain that this Mustang was going to break out because the car just felt so fast compared to the testing pass where it went 11.98. And you can hear that in the video. You can hear me let out. And that ended up being a mistake. I should have kept in it. I probably would have broke out, but I would rather go out that way than losing the way I did. So that was the end of my 2024 race season. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. It was really cool to take the car racing after what seemed like forever to get the build done, and there was just issue after issue through the build process. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't film that I had problems with, but got the car pretty dialed in for the 12.0 class, even though I lost. So I have a lot of changes I want to make to the car. I've already made some of them. I already have a new rear gear in it. So the stock BRZ has a 4:11 gear ratio. I just went to a 373, so that'll give us way more mile per hour. And I was really struggling to launch the car to get it up on boost. It was pushing through the brakes. Well, with the new 373, it no longer does that. It builds plenty of boost on the brakes, so I'll have, I think, way more consistent launches next year. But yeah, it was good. Learned a lot, had a lot of fun. Building the car was, I don't know if I'll do another engine swap, but it was fun. So expect another video on the BRZ maybe after the first race next year, and hopefully it is a race of me going out and winning in the car. So as usual, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Goodbye.